Hey, thought leaders. This is the personalbranding.com podcast, and I'm your host, Dillon Kivo. Join us to learn how to build a legacy, boost your reputation, and make a lasting impact. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the personalbranding.com podcast, and I'm your host, Dillon Kivo. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the drawbacks of influencer and expert status and how combining those roles leads to authority. And by the way, this episode goes along with the chapter 7 of my book, The Authority Playbook. Cool. So the world is full of experts and influencers. Lots of them have made a great career for themselves and live perfectly comfortably. But there are even more who never really reach the level that they want to get to. The truth is that both of these roles require so much time and patience and effort just to stay afloat and outpace their competition. And no matter what you do, there's so much competition out there these days. That's why taking the steps to becoming an authority will help you succeed and stay profitable through the years. Even though you might be able to be incredibly successful as an expert or an influencer, it's very hard to rise up to the top, and it's even harder to stay there. Athletes, musicians, doctors, lawyers, and any other kind of expert, they all spend years and years training to compete in their industries. And influencers often have really tenuous careers that could easily come to an end if something goes wrong and their following drops off, right? So that's hardly a secure business plan. When I look at the athletes who have really made it though, they don't just make money from playing sports. They've diversified their income by becoming authorities. They take on business ventures and brand deals to boost their recognition. What I'm saying is that having a very narrow skill set doesn't really work like it used to anymore. One issue with your work, it can take you out. Being recognized as the authority in your field is one way to fix that problem. When I look at a lot of different kinds of experts, I really notice a pattern. It seems to me that the years they put into learning their skills and finding their niche aren't often, awarded per their value though. Experts usually don't market themselves very much, and they rely on their skills alone to make them their income. Again, while this definitely works for some people, I've seen lots of examples of experts who do not live up to their potential because their field is so saturated that they can't even stand out anymore. More often than not, experts face a market of harsh competition, price wars, and the consistent threat of being less specialized and less skilled than a nearby competitor. When a certain market is really saturated with experts, price can end up being one of the main differentiating factors. This can lead to price wars where competitors are forced to lower their prices to be more appealing to customers. No matter how skilled or specialized you are, there's almost always going to be someone who can undercut you and stay profitable. Trust me, you don't want to end up in this kind of environment. And while staying out of a heavy saturated market is the best move, experts who have poured lots of time and energy into their field can't just pivot to another market so easily anymore. So the issue that a lot of experts face is that they're pigeonholed into a small niche. And if something goes wrong with their business, or if they're just priced out by competition, they don't have many good options left. Also, I've seen lots of cases where experts who don't build up a personal brand, they end up having to prove their credibility over and over and over again. If you have to remarket your services to clients over and over, it's hard to build social proof. And really having a lasting reputation, it's near impossible. On the other hand, the problem with being an influencer is that your role doesn't require much knowledge of the brands you're representing. There just isn't much incentive for it anymore, right? For example, think about the actors you see in car ads. Do you think that if they wanted to, they could design their own signature car on their own? Probably not. They don't have to have a specialized skill set and knowledge to do so because they don't have to. There are lots of influencers out there, but only a small number of them actually make a decent living off of endorsement deals and affiliate income. If you're an influencer, to make the best use of the influence that you have, having a specialty will increase your chances of success. This is how you go from promoting someone else's product and services to promoting your own. At a certain point, the promotions only make so much. That's one reason why many influencers transition to owning their own brand, starting their own product line, or founding their own company. No one wants to watch the profits that they generate just disappear up the ladder. If you're able to see the positive impact your work has, it's going to motivate you to keep working towards your goals. The unfortunate truth of influencing is that your dream and impact ultimately belongs to someone else. So use your influence as a monetization tool. There's no reason you can't take off and start your own. You'd be surprised how much you can do as an experienced influencer when you start your own business. One of the hardest parts of starting a business is getting your name out there, but you've already covered that. Of course, we're here to talk about the intersection between expertise and influence and how that can translate into authority. It should be clear that those factors usually do not lend themselves to authority. Experts tend to lack the ability to navigate outside their narrow specialties, and influencers don't have enough of a skill set to be seen as a trustworthy figure in any given niche. To transcend both of these issues, you need to adopt the practices that can bridge the gaps between these two categories. To be considered an authority, you need the knowledge, the skill, and experience of an expert, and the consistency, the social proof, and just, the soul reach of an influencer. To transition from influencer to authority, the first step to consider is just what products that you've had promoting in the past and gain more knowledge about that subject. For example, if you've been promoting food products, restaurants, or cooking appliances, you probably know more than your average person about those, right? You can take the knowledge that you already have from promoting the products and build onto it, and maybe even eventually release a cookbook or start a snack brand like Mr. Beast, right? Here are the few questions to ask yourself as you navigate this process. Number one, which skills should I be focusing on improving? To answer this, I'd recommend analyzing the market you'll be entering to find out what products are successful, what's in demand. Number two, what pace am I going to set for myself? Learning curves can be frustrating and demoralizing. That's why it's really important to create a schedule for yourself to avoid burnout. If your timeline is just too short, you're not going to have enough time and space to work on your skills. But if you don't set a schedule for yourself or give yourself really the lenient timeline that you need, you'll find that you'll just stay in your comfort zone and not take any difficult steps. Number three, how can the knowledge I'm gaining be augmented by my experience as an influencer? Since you already have experience promoting products in the field that you're delving into, your existing knowledge and connections should be able to help you expand your knowledge even further. When you've answered these questions for yourself, you can use these answers to build a roadmap. If there's a certain skill that you need to work on, itemize them and educate yourself through reading, taking courses, speaking with experts you might have connections to, or whatever help that you need to attain those skills. This process is going to look different for each person, but the end goal is to leverage your influence while increasing your knowledge and skills in a niche that you already have experience promoting, and make sure it's something that you're actually passionate about. On the other hand, if you consider yourself to be more in the expert category, there is a different set of questions that you should ask yourself. The first is, how can I expand my promotional capacity? Look at how you're currently promoting your business and use the elements of influence that you're lacking to spread awareness for your brand. The second question is, how much can your skills do for you? In other words, are your current skills sufficient to be marketable, or do you need to expand your skill set? The third question is, how can your skills augment your newly acquired influence? Make sure that your skills can be, communicated easily and that you can demonstrate why people need them. It's also so important that you don't overmarket yourself. Coming across as needy is a bad look. If your skills are solid and in demand, then you shouldn't have much trouble making your business influential in your niche if you actually put in the work. So elements of both influence and expertise are both necessary for building your authority. It's super important to be introspective and recognize what skills and abilities you need to work on in both of these areas if you want to achieve authority status. In the next episode, we're going to cover the steps that you can take to put those elements together and take your first step towards having authority. So stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. I'd love to hear from all of you. Follow and connect with me on all of your favorite social media platforms at Dillon Kivo. DILLONKIV as in Victor O. And until next time, keep building your brand and stay golden.